now we're going to start a couple of word problems. The first one says that you have a parallelogram that has a 65-degree angle and sides of 12 and 15 centimeters. How long are its diagonals? So the first thing that we'll do is sketch a picture of our parallelogram. Okay, so you know what a parallelogram looks like. They only told me one angle. The only angle they told me was there's one angle of 65 degrees. I know it can't be one of these obtuse angles, so it has to be these acute angles. And one of the things about parallelograms is opposite angles are congruent. So I know this is 65 degrees, and this will be 65 degrees on this side. Together, if you add those up, I believe that gives you 130 degrees, right? 65 and 65 is 130. In a parallelogram, altogether, you have 360 degrees. So if I take away that 130, that leaves me with 230 left, which means if I split that in half, half of 200 is 100, half 30 is 15. So that means this would be 115, and this would be 115. So that I believe if I add all those up together, 230 and 130, that'll give me the 360 total. All right, and they also told me the sides are 12 and 15 centimeters. So the shorter sides are going to be 12, and the longer sides will be 15. Okay, so I kind of label my parallelogram, and then they asked me how long are the diagonals. So I'm going to first make my long diagonal right here, and I'm going to call the long diagonal A. Okay, so this is A, and since I know side, angle, side, I could solve it by using law of cosines. So I'm going to say that A squared is equal to 12 squared plus 15 squared minus 2 times 12 times 15 times the cosine of 115 degrees. So I turn my calculator on. I need to make sure my calculator is in degree mode still, and then I'm just going to go ahead and type that in. So I have 12 squared, put my marker down for a minute, plus 15 squared minus 2 times 12 times 15 times the cosine of 115 degrees. Make sure I typed all that in correctly. And I hit enter. Now notice that's a squared, so I need to take the square root of it. So I go second square root, second answer. And it says my answer should be about 0.83, I guess this would be centimeters. Okay, so that's how long the longest diagonal is, okay? Now let's consider the shorter diagonal. Maybe I'll change color pens here to do the shorter diagonal. This is the one that connects your obtuse angles right here. So now I'm considering this triangle right here, okay, because I'm trying to find the length of this side. So I know this side is 12, this side is 15, and the angle is 65 degrees. So let's say I call this diagonal B. So I would say B squared is equal to 12 squared plus 15 squared minus 2 times 12 times 15 times the cosine of 65 degrees. Now, if you notice, it looks identical to what I just typed, except for the angle is different, okay? So the cosine, instead of cosine of 115, I have cosine of 65. So I am just going to type that in. So I have 12 squared plus 15 squared minus 2 times 12 times 15 times the cosine of 65 degrees. And then remember you have to take the square root. So second square root, second answer. And I get that it's 14.73. I'd like to go ahead and check my calculator just to make sure I typed it all in the way I wanted to. All right, so that looks right. So this should be 14.73 centimeters. So now I know both of the diagonals. All right, moving right along. The next problem is an airplane problem. It says an airplane flies on a course of 130 degrees for 5 hours at a speed of 1,100 kilometers per hour. How far east of the starting point will it be after 5 hours? So I am just going to start right here. and it says that I am on a course of 130 degrees, okay? So that, I believe, is 40 degrees south of 90, so kind of like this. So that means this little angle right here is going to be 40 degrees, okay? And it says that I'm going for 5 hours at a speed of 1,100 kilometers per hour. So 5 times 1,100, I believe, will be 5,500. Okay, 5,500 kilometers, okay? And the question asks, after 5 hours, how far east will I be? So I just kind of drew the line going east, and that right there is what I'm going to solve for. I know that this is going to be, I went straight up here, so this is going to be a 90-degree angle. This is 40 degrees, this is 90 degrees, which leaves me 50 degrees right here. So in order to solve for x, you could use SOHCAHTOA, or you could use, a lot of my students would prefer to use law of sines. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to say the sine of 50 over x is equal to, I guess this is the one I know right here, the sine of 90 over 5,500. Of course, the sine of 90 is just 1, but, you know, that'll be okay. We just cross multiply. So x times sine of 90 is equal to 5,500 times the sine of 50. If you check your calculator or just think about unit circles, sine of 90 is 1. So 1 times x is just x. So it'll just come out to be x is 5,500 times the sine of 50 degrees, and I hit enter, and I get 4,213.24 kilometers. Okay, that would be the answer to how far east did I travel? 4,213.24 kilometers. That would be in 5 hours. There would be our answer.